Alright, so today's video is going to be about golf balls, but before I get to that, a big shout out to my friend who owns the Noodle House in Newburgh, Indiana. She allowed me to use one of her TrackMan simulators to gather the data that you're going to see in this video. So in the video, what I do is I use my 56-degree Kirkland wedge. All right, and the technology on the Kirkland wedge is it has grooves just like the usual, but it's also got this micro groove technology where there's little grooves between the grooves. Okay, you really need a high-powered magnifying glass to see them. The genesis of this video happened the other day. I wasn't intending to make a video about golf balls or golf ball spin, but I was on the third hole and I found that Titleist Professional with the Balata cover in the weeds, and I knew it was a really spinny ball. At the time I was playing a Volvik Vivid because I had just lost my Callaway Super Soft on the first hole in the water. So anyway, after that round was over, I was over at my friend's restaurant where they have a golf simulator, the TrackMan, and I thought, you know, I wonder how that Volvik Vivid compares to this, you know, Titleist with the Balata cover. So I put them down, I hit a couple of shots, and it was like, oh my God. The Volvik Vivid, which is a really hard, long-distance ball, not meant to spin, only gave me about 2,000 RPM on a 50-yard shot. However, this Titleist Professional 90 compression ball with the Balata cover on a 50-yard shot spun over 6,000 RPM. It was like, oh my God. So from that, I got the idea to develop today's video. Now in the video that you're going to see, it's one cut. I didn't edit it anywhere, so you're going to watch it from the beginning to the end. And I go through 5 golf balls. Let's see, the first one was a Nitro. Now the interesting thing about the Nitro is, in the past I went to find some spin data on the Nitro, and you know, there is none on the net. So maybe I'm the first guy to actually give you some spin numbers for the Nitro. And then next I looked at the Callaway Super Soft, my favorite golf ball. The Noodle Long and Soft happens to be my older brother's favorite golf ball. And then the Titleist Pro V1, because that's the standard. And then finally, in this cut you're going to see, there's the Titleist Professional 90 compression with the Balata cover. All right. And then additionally, after that video, I had done another video a day before, and in that there were, I think, 7 golf balls that I compared. So not only was there the Nitro, the Callaway Chrome Super Soft, and the Pro V1 and the Titleist Professional 90, but I also included a Kirkland Signature and a Flite Bomb. All right. Now, that video didn't turn out too good. It was a little blurry, and the only way I was able to see the numbers was to put it on my big screen TV and then see what the numbers were. But after the first video, I'm going to show you those numbers because there's something very interesting in it. So in this first video, as you watch it, there's going to be a trend. The trend's going to be obvious. Now, where you need to look in the video typically is above my head, below the word TrackMan. The first number that you see, going from top to bottom, is the carry distance of the shot. Then the next number down is the spin that the TrackMan determined that shot was hit with. Now, as I did this, I noticed some things. I would occasionally get a ball that spun really good, and I couldn't explain the reason. And then I would get some that didn't spin so good. Now, I think I can explain away the ones that didn't spin so good. I tend to toe hit a little bit, and on the sand wedge, when you get near the toe, there aren't any grooves. So you lose a lot of your spin because, well, there's just no grooves to put spin onto the ball. Then the other thing I noticed was, if I was a little bit scoopy with my shot, I found that the ball spun less. But if I came through with a nice swing, normal swing, nothing fancy, I got some pretty good numbers. And then I did play around with the simulator a little bit more to see if I could, juice my numbers up on spin. And of course I found, very quickly that if I used a descending blow onto the ball, I could generate more spin. But my interest with the video is spin, not in technique. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at that first video. Okay, so for today's video, the contenders are, from the left to the right, the Nitro, Callaway Super Soft, Noodle Long and Soft, the Titleist Pro V1, not the X, and a Titleist Professional 90 compression with a Balata core cover. This ball, I used to play it in high school, so it's like 1970s, 1980s technology. It's the spinniest golf ball in golf. All right, so the first ball up is the Nitro. I'm going for 50-yard shot. All right, so next up is the Callaway Super Soft. Then next we've got the Noodle Long and Soft. Now we bring in the Pro V1. And then finally, the Titleist Professional 90 with the Balata cover. The spinniest ball in golf. The spinniest ball ever made. Feels like butter. Now this golf ball's got to be at least 40 years old. Alright, so let's do the same thing now, but let me take some fuller swings. The Nitro. Alright, the Callaway Super Soft. The Noodle Long and Soft. Bit long, all right. All right, the Titleist Pro V1. And finally, the Titleist Professional 90 with the Balata cover. Alright, now I'm going to hit them with everything I got. First the Nitro. The Callaway Super Soft, my favorite ball. We bring in the Noodle Long and Soft. See if this baby lives up to its name. Kind of a toe hit there. Let's give her one more slack. Then we bring in the Titleist Pro V1. Alright, then the spinniest golf ball in golf. The Titleist Professional 90 compression with a Balata cover. Oh, that baby feels like butter. So as you can see here, there's quite a difference in the spin rate of these golf balls. The Nitro, as expected, it's a very cheap ball. It doesn't spin much. The Callaway Super Soft, okay, it starts to spin okay, not too bad. $25 a dozen on that one. The Long and Softs, just bought that from Walmart, 19 bucks, you get 15 balls. Performance kind of right there with the Callaway Super Soft. But then we move into the Pro V1, and you can really see a distinct difference in the spin rate. And then when I go to the 40-year-old Titleist Professional 90 with a Balata cover, that's the softest cover ever made. It's really easy to damage that golf ball. However, I could see why the professionals played that golf ball back in the day. It is buttery soft. I can hardly feel the impact when I hit it. And as you see, it spins like crazy. Alright, so these are the stars of today's show, going from left to right. I've got a Nitro, a Volvik Vivid, a Callaway Super Soft, a Kirkland Signature, the Bomb, a Titleist Pro V, and finally a Titleist Professional 90 with the Balata cover. Alright, so here are the numbers that I took from the day before. It's not the greatest presentation in the world, but it gets across the point. These are the shots I hit from 50 yards, 60 yards, and then finally when I went for full power at 95 yards, all with my 56-degree sand wedge. And something really kind of stuck out to me. It was with this Nitro number here. All right, I was shooting for 50 yards. I hit 156 yards, but it spun 5,133. That's a pretty good spin, especially compared to the other day when my club was dirty and it only gave me 2,000 RPM. And then the second shot, 53 yards, 5,052. And then the fourth shot, 59 yards, 5,372. That's pretty darn good spin. You know, I had to scratch my head about that. I was like, what's going on? Well, I had cleaned my sand wedge, cleaned the grooves, cleaned the micro grooves. So these Nitro shots were hit with the cleanest golf club. So maybe that explains why I'm getting 3,000 more RPM. However, those grooves on that Kirkland wedge, they clog up pretty fast. But the trend kind of still stays the same. Nitro was the least spinniest. The Volvik Vivid kind of followed suit for 56. The Callaway Super Soft, 5,000, 5,900, 6,000. So it's spinning a little bit more. Then the Kirkland Signature throws out a number on a 54-yard shot of 7,300 RPM. Almost 6,000 here on a 49-yard shot. 5,600 on a 50-yard shot. So that Kirkland Signature is pretty spinny golf ball. I don't like it because it feels really tinny when I hit it. All right, and then I had the Titleist Bomb, and that's kind of spinning in the mid-5,000s. All right, then the Pro V1, I've got 6,800, 6,800, 7,000. So it's like, whoop, there's a difference between everything else in this Pro V1. And then the Balata ball for 47, 67, 64, 6,000. So the Balata was spinning pretty good too. All right, so now let's just take a quick look at some of these bigger numbers where I went to 95 yards. All right, the Callaway Super Soft for a 94-yard shot spun 8,000. 95, 8,300, 85, 8,000. The Pro V1 was 8,500, 8,700, 7,412. All right, my Callaway Super Soft and the Pro V1 were pretty darn comparable at 95 yards. The Nitro, however, still wasn't very spinny at 95, using a pretty good swing, and it came in at 5,300, 4,000, and 3,200. The Balata ball held itself up, showed it to be the most spinny. For a 92-yard, I got 9,200, 9,400, almost 8,900, and then 9,500. So the Balata was definitely the most spinny ball. Kind of a long video today. If you made it to the end, my thanks to you. In going through this process, it's kind of an accidental thing. I didn't intend on making this video. I don't endorse any of these golf balls. I did tell you the ones that I like. I like the Callaway Super Soft, especially the Vivid ones with the matte finish on it. But there's something really to be said for that Pro V1. Probably the most important takeaway from this video for me is if I did mishit the ball, the Pro V1 still delivered quite a lot of spin. Whereas if I mishit one of those other cheaper balls, I lost a lot of spin and I lost it fast.